Hi, my name's Bill Ford. In the mid-60s, John and I played together in a Midlands-based band called the Senators. John joined us one evening when our unreliable drummer let us down when we got a double gig. Terry Beale, our vocalist, played drums for the first half. During the break, he said, "I've got a mate who plays drums, I'll go and fetch him." Both gigs, fortunately, were close to John's hometown of Redditch. John and Terry had played together before in the Blue Star Trio and Terry Webb and the Spiders. Terry returned shortly with a young lad, and that was our first meeting with John Bonham. John sat down at the drum kit, made a few adjustments, and then we were off. He made such a fantastic difference. He was such a powerful drummer. After we'd finished that gig, we went on to the second venue, and then we asked John if he wanted to join the Senators, and he agreed to. When the gigs were finished, and we were dropping John off at his parents' home, John insisted that I came quietly upstairs to his brother Mick's bedroom so that he could show Mick my long hair. Back in those days, most groups still had smart haircuts. It soon became apparent, with John being such a powerful drummer, that we were going to need more powerful amplifiers. And with John playing in the Senators, this exposed him to meet other well-known Birmingham bands, such as Denny Lane and the Diplomats with Bev Bevan, and Mike Sheridan and the Night Riders with Roy Wood. We played such venues as the Cavern, the Ritz, and the Plazas Old Hill and Handsworth, as well as other clubs and dance halls. We were also support bands to John Lee Hooker, Marianne Faithfull, the Mersey Beats and the Pretty Things. We also shared the bill with Steve Winwood and Spencer Davis Group. In 1964, we, along with 13 other Birmingham bands, were chosen to record the Brumbeat album. Our song, She's a Mod, was track 1, side 1. This was John's first ever professional recording. Soon after the album was released, we were approached to go to London to re-record our track as a single. She's a Mod was released the same week as the Applejacks' Tell Me When, which was a Mickey Mouse production. Tell Me When was a chart success. Our record, unfortunately, wasn't a success due to the record label Dial becoming bankrupt. She's a Mod was published by Dick James Music, the Beatles publisher, and one of their team took our record to a New Zealand band called Ray Columbus and the Invaders, who re-recorded it and had a #1 hit in New Zealand and Australia, and took Ray Columbus, MBE, to America to appear on the Roy Orbison show. We carried on as the Senators for a while, but as more and more bands sprung up in the Midlands area and work became harder to come by, we decided to call it a day. John and I were approached by the Nicky James movement to join them. John joined, but after a couple of weeks I decided to carry on with my career in graphic design. While John was with Nicky James, now called The Way of Life, he was approached by Robert Plant to go and work with him, which he did, and that was the Band of Joy. This, of course, eventually provided the Midlands half of Led Zeppelin. I remained friends with John, and we got to visit him and Pat at their home after gigs when Led Zeppelin played Birmingham, once at the Kinetic Circus backstage and once at John and Pat's home after they played the Odeon Birmingham. Jason was just a toddler then. I last saw John a few weeks before he died. I had called in at his farmhouse and he had took me round to see his father Jack working on some of their farmhouse conversions, and later John and I went to his local for a drink. That was the last time I had a meeting with John Bonham. I have lots of good memories with John in the Senators, especially John taking the lead vocal for the Beatles' 8 Days a Week or the Kinks' You Really Got Me. When John was still with the Band of Joy, I had gone to see them at a local venue. During the interval, John showed me 2 leather coats he'd got, an orange suede jacket and a blue 3/4 length leather coat. He was short of money, and so I bought the leather coat off him. I was reminded of this recently when listening to a Robert Plant interview when he mentioned the orange suede jacket. I only recently found out that back in 1964, when we played at 3 Men in a Boat in Warsaw, our support act was the In-Betweens, who later became Slade when Noddy Holder joined them. In a way, I'm glad the Senators weren't a success, because who knows what might have happened. We might never have had Led Zeppelin. Thanks for the happy memories.
Yeah.
Is that it?